Welcome to the FinGlam Finance channel. In this video, we will be reading and discussing some articles that we found very interesting. Feel free to leave a comment. Let's start reading the first article. Bitcoin is a must-own as the world's only truly scarce asset, analysis argues, as US BTC accumulation takes a leg up. Bitcoin will suck in all prosperity gains in future and leave behind those who have no exposure as a result, a new prediction says. In a Twitter thread on July 8, investor Luke Broyles delivered a bold vision of how Bitcoin would become society's base money. Bitcoin is being hailed as an essential asset, with experts arguing that it's the only truly scarce resource in the world. As Bitcoin accumulation in the United States continues to rise, it's predicted that it will capture all future prosperity gains, leaving behind those who have no exposure to it. Investor Luke Broyles recently shared a bold vision on Twitter, envisioning Bitcoin as the foundation of society's monetary system. What began as a discussion on AI's acceptance of Bitcoin quickly transformed into an exciting narrative about Bitcoin becoming the world's preferred currency. Broyles highlights Bitcoin's key attribute, a fixed and immutable supply, which makes it a unique and future-proof asset. He explains that every innovation, including AI, competes to drive prices down, while countries print more currency to raise prices and sustain credit markets. These forces will continue to accelerate. In contrast, Bitcoin's emission remains constant, making even a small exposure to it significantly different from having no exposure at all. Broyles emphasizes that Bitcoin is already being traded for substantial amounts of political currency units in many nations. However, the real significance lies in the fact that all future prosperity gains from innovative developments will flow into Bitcoin, making it the base money of society. This perspective aligns with the views of Arthur Hayes, former CEO of BitMEX, who believes that AI will naturally choose Bitcoin as its financial lifeblood due to its unique qualities compared to other assets like gold. As a result, the influence of AI alone could propel the price of Bitcoin above $750,000 per token. The race to secure the remaining Bitcoin supply may already be underway. Broyles suggests that Bitcoin liquidity peaked during the cross-market crash in March 2020 and will not retrace its steps. Additionally, when BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, announced its filing for a Bitcoin spot-based exchange-traded fund, ETF, BTC activity in the United States soared. According to on-chain analytics firm Glassnode, there are indications that the United States is re-evaluating its exposure to Bitcoin, signaling a growing interest in the cryptocurrency. After BlackRock's announcement on June 15 regarding the request for a Bitcoin ETF, there has been a significant increase in the portion of Bitcoin supply held and traded by entities in the United States. This notable uptick suggests a potential turning point in the dominance of Bitcoin supply, should this trend continue, as stated on July 8. This was the text of the article, and now we will be commenting on it. Bitcoin is being hailed as the ultimate asset to own, with experts arguing that it is the only truly scarce resource in the world. As Bitcoin continues to accumulate in the United States, it is predicted to absorb all future prosperity gains, leaving those without exposure behind. Investor Luke Broyles recently shared an audacious vision on Twitter, envisioning Bitcoin as the cornerstone of society's monetary system. What began as a discussion on AI's acceptance of Bitcoin quickly evolved into an exhilarating narrative of Bitcoin becoming the global currency of choice. Broyles emphasizes Bitcoin's key attribute, an unchanging and limited supply, that sets it apart as a resilient asset. He explains that while every innovation, including AI, drives prices down to remain competitive, countries print more currency to boost prices and sustain credit markets. These forces will continue to accelerate. In contrast, Bitcoin's emission remains constant, making any exposure to it significantly different from having no exposure at all. Broyles highlights that Bitcoin is already being traded for substantial amounts of political currency units in many nations. However, the true significance lies in the fact that all future prosperity gains from groundbreaking developments will flow into Bitcoin, establishing it as the foundational money of society. This perspective aligns with the views of Arthur Hayes, former CEO of BitMEX, who believes that AI will instinctively choose Bitcoin as its financial lifeblood due to its unique qualities compared to other assets like gold. The influence of AI alone could drive the price of Bitcoin above $750,000 per token. The race to secure the remaining supply of Bitcoin may already be underway. Broyles suggests that Bitcoin liquidity peaked during the cross-market crash in March 2020 and will not retrace its steps. Additionally, when BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, filed for a Bitcoin spot-based exchange-traded fund, ETF, BTC activity in the United States skyrocketed. On-chain analytics firm Glassnode indicates that the United States is reassessing its exposure to Bitcoin, signaling a growing interest in the cryptocurrency. Related, BTC price remains undoubtedly bullish, as $30,000 Bitcoin buyers emerge. Following BlackRock's announcement on June 15 regarding the request for a Bitcoin ETF, there has been a significant surge in the amount of Bitcoin supply held and traded by entities in the United States. This notable increase suggests a potential shift in the dominance of Bitcoin supply, should this trend continue, as stated on July 8. Now we will read and comment on another interesting article. United States presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has admitted to owning up to $250,000 in Bitcoin, contrary to his previous claim of not being an investor in the leading cryptocurrency. According to records obtained by CNBC, Kennedy Jr. held between $100,001 and $250,000 worth of Bitcoin at the end of June. This investment was made after his speech at the Bitcoin 2023 conference in May, during which he announced that his campaign would be the first to accept Bitcoin donations in the United States. Interestingly, at the conference, Kennedy Jr. explicitly denied being an investor in Bitcoin, stating that he was not there to provide investment advice. However, the financial disclosure filed on June 30 revealed his ownership of Bitcoin, although it did not specify when the cryptocurrency was purchased. The filing also indicated that the investment has yielded a return of less than $201. While the disclosure does not mention who made the purchase, Kennedy Jr.'s campaign acknowledged that he was the owner. As part of his campaign to challenge President Joe Biden, Kennedy Jr. has targeted the crypto community, emphasizing the importance of cryptocurrencies and crypto technologies as innovation engines. He believes that restricting the industry would hinder innovation and drive it elsewhere. Kennedy Jr. has garnered support from influential figures such as Twitter founder and CEO of the block, Jack Dorsey, who has expressed confidence in the candidate's strategy to defeat opponents in the upcoming race. As the son of former Attorney General and Senator Robert F. Kennedy and the nephew of President John F. Kennedy, his endorsement comes at a critical time for the American crypto industry. The industry is facing increased scrutiny from the Securities and Exchange Commission due to the absence of a comprehensive regulatory framework for digital assets in the United States. This was the text of the article, and now we will be commenting on it. United States presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. recently made headlines for his ownership of up to $250,000 in Bitcoin, despite previously denying being an investor in the cryptocurrency. This revelation came to light through financial disclosure records obtained by CNBC. Kennedy Jr.'s Bitcoin investment was made after his speech at the Bitcoin 2023 conference, where he announced that his campaign would accept Bitcoin donations. It's interesting to note that during the conference, Kennedy Jr. explicitly stated that he was not an investor in Bitcoin and was not there to provide investment advice. However, the recent financial disclosure contradicts his earlier statement, revealing his ownership of a substantial amount of Bitcoin. Kennedy Jr.'s campaign acknowledged his ownership of the cryptocurrency, although the disclosure did not specify when the Bitcoin was purchased. The filing also indicated that the investment has yielded a return of less than $201. In his campaign, Kennedy Jr. has actively targeted the crypto community, recognizing cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin, as major drivers of innovation. He believes that the United States government's restrictions on the industry hinder innovation and push it to other jurisdictions. Notably, Kennedy Jr. has gained support from influential figures such as Twitter founder Jack Dorsey, who expressed confidence in the candidate's strategy to defeat his opponents in the upcoming race. As the son of former Attorney General and Senator Robert F. Kennedy and the nephew of President John F. Kennedy, Kennedy Jr.'s involvement in the crypto industry comes at a critical time. The American crypto industry is currently grappling with regulatory challenges, with the Securities and Exchange Commission tightening its grip on crypto businesses due to the absence of a comprehensive regulatory framework for digital assets in the United States. These are the news that we found interesting. We are excited to share this information with you and create a community dedicated to financial growth. Let us know your thoughts in the comments as we continue to explore the vast world of finance together. Subscribe to our channel to stay informed and feel free to share and comment on all our videos. Thank you for your support. Attention! The information provided in this video does not constitute financial advice and is not intended to provide any form of financial guidance. The opinions expressed in this video are personal and may differ from those of financial experts. Any decision you make regarding investments will be your own decision. We do not intend to influence your decisions in any way. If you decide to undertake any investments, we recommend consulting professionals in the field. Before risking your financial capital, conduct your own research. Financial markets can be highly volatile, so if you choose to invest, do so with caution. It is important to be aware that financial transactions are often risky and can result in the loss of your entire invested capital. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Financial knowledge is essential. Be aware of your goals and abilities before investing. Conduct thorough research and verify sources before making financial decisions based on this video. In this video, we have blended finance-related images with other subjects. It's important to emphasize that the purpose of these visuals is to create a diverse and engaging content experience. We want to make it clear that there is absolutely no intention to offend, be sexist, or show bias towards any specific group in any way. Our goal is to foster a light-hearted atmosphere while discussing finance, ensuring a respectful and inclusive environment for everyone.